Unheard of.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Unheard of. With me, as always, is the best producer, the best co-host, the best guy to have on your show at all times, Jared Evans. And you already know who I am. I'm Arthur. Jared, I'm not gonna lie to you. With the recording of our 2-year show, what episode are we on? Do you know?
Um, well, I can't tell you the number specifically. Um,
Because I
if you,
don't know either. This is, I mean, if we recorded, which I mean, everybody knows, sometimes we miss a week, sometimes we miss 2 weeks. Um, if we recorded every week, I guess that would have been our 104th episode. With wait, no, well, yeah, with 2 years, right?
yeah,
But
it's getting up there.
but I don't know. I guess maybe we'll have to go back and count how many episodes we had. But episode, who knows? With of Unheard of. Thank you guys for listening. Jared, how are you this week?
I'm doing pretty golden.
Golden.
Yeah, pretty golden. Been a good week. We been busy at work still. Not too many big updates. Just kind of been hitting the books, studying for that next job certification. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Been watching a lot of good TV recently, but hey, we'll get into all that. But how about you, man? How was your week?
I mean, solid. I'm still kicking. I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? Taking it one day at a time. Still trying to get as much cardio in as possible this summer. This summer is a cardio summer. I mean, I feel like I've kind of spoken on that a lot. I mean, so far this summer, but I've been playing a lot of basketball and trying to get as much sweating in at when it's hot as possible. Also, I mean, I've only played once, but myself and another coworker who he already knows how to play, but we've been playing tennis. So I've been trying to learn how to play tennis this summer. So just trying to get in as much movement sports in the heat as possible so I can sweat as much as possible this summer. So yeah, that's pretty much how my week has been going.
Nice, sweet. Well, we got a good one for all of you fun folks. We're gonna hop straight into it, just because you can't really lean into this type of stuff, especially after what fans of this show watched over this season. We're gonna go straight into our first topic, which is the boys. And this week was actually a really good episode, despite the title and where it got some inspiration from, called Herogasm. Um,
Yes, and also, of course, whenever we talk about something that we've been watching on the show, of course, I mean, I say it every week, but spoilers for this episode and pretty much spoilers for the whole season, this season of The Boys. So, viewer beware, we're jumping right into the spoilers already. So, yeah, man, that episode, in my opinion, I mean, I've said this in our group chat. But to me,
yeah,
phenomenal. They knocked it out of the park with this episode. Um, I mean, I feel like there is just like so many good performances this week, whether it be the guy who plays what is his name? Homelander. I'm so bad with names, or the guy who plays
Anthony Starr.
Yes, Anthony Starr. I knew it was something Starr, or the guy who plays Mother's Milk.
I don't
Do you
really
know
know
his
his
name?
name. I don't. I
The
wish
guy who
I
plays
did.
the guy who plays MM in the show. Just just really, really, really outstanding performances from those guys this week. Even the guy who plays A Train.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
I knew it was Laws something. Mother's Milk is Laws Alonso.
Lars Alonso.
Yeah.
Lars?
No, it's Laz.
Oh, Lars.
Yeah.
Lars Alonso. Okay. What about A Train?
It's a Jesse Usher.
Jesse Usher. Okay, yeah. I always try to whenever I'm watching it, obviously, Amazon Prime has that thing where you can pause it or
Yeah.
look up, and it has the actors' names that corresponds with their characters in the scene and everything. So I usually do that. Like I'll pause it every once in a while and see who the actors are who are playing the characters, but I never really remember them. But no, this season, these actors have been performing basically their ass off, in my opinion, for the show.
Yeah.
And episode 6 was no exception to the rule, because you got great performances out of these people this week. And I saw, well, talking in our group chat with a person who will remain unnamed, even though they've been on the show before. You guys probably, definitely know who I'm talking about, but I won't say the name. Expected more out of this episode than maybe they should have, because in my opinion, this is, even though it's called Herogasm, even though you're getting depictions of a bunch of heroes and escorts kind of engaging in sexual activity.
Yeah.
I feel like they maybe expected more out of the episode than what was shown. And in my opinion, what was shown in the episode was definitely more than I expected. Like, in my opinion, this episode went above and beyond of what I expected to see on a television show, on a streaming service, especially Amazon. Like, they definitely went all out, in my opinion, for a orgy, basically, of heroes.
Man, as soon as they open the door, like when Mother's Milk and Starlight gets to the door, just just the way they're greeted is more than enough for me.
Yeah, right. Like, this guy answers the door basically with his in lack of
He's
a
got
better word, of his Johnson, his
yeah, he's
stretchy
got
pecker opening the door.
he's got a Reed Richards Johnson.
Yes. And so once you saw that, you knew. I mean, everybody. I feel like if you were a fan of the show, you already knew what this episode was gonna kind of be about.
Basically,
Basically,
this unnamed person, I think, was looking to watch porn through the boys.
that's what I said in our group chat. But
uh,
I feel like maybe I was being too much when I said that, or maybe I
now,
was kind of joking. But like, maybe that person was trying to see some straight up porn in the episode, which definitely was not going to be the case. Definitely, it was going to be more going on in the episode than just straight scenes of heroes getting it on.
what's funny is, like, yeah, the comics for this show is really graphic, but that's not what the show is. Like, I know the show is graphic, but if people were looking for the actual depiction of that comic, I think they haven't been watching the actual show, because the show itself is like a satire of real life. It's not like the actual depiction, really, of the comics, clearly. But heck, even in this episode, when A Train, oh wait, no, it wasn't A Train, it was the Deep. But A Train was in on it. He starts to parody that Imagine singing video like Gal Gadot did. And
Bro, when they started singing Imagine, I was like, yo. And
nobody,
they really had a bunch of other celebrity cameos
yeah,
in
Ashton Kutcher, Mila
Ashton
Kunis,
Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Patton
Patton
Oswalt
Oswalt.
was in there. Like just the amount of celebrity cameos they had to basically make fun of these other celebrities who, in the face of adversity in our country, in the United States, and pretty much around the world, they decided to sing just to make fun of them in the same song, using the same song that they sang.
Dude,
knocked
nope.
it knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, bro. They did such a good job, especially in the last episode with A Train doing the whole Kendall
Kendall
Jenner
Jenner.
Pepsi commercial thing to them in this episode, doing the Celebrity Imagine video thing. Like they
Dude, nobody is safe in society. Like COVID gave the boys so much material to just slam
oh
on
bro,
celebrities.
absolutely, bro. They really, bro, they messed up. They messed up by giving them this much ammo to fire back at
uh
at the country and at celebrity culture.
Man, I will say,
Period.
like, despite what the episode was titled for, that was probably one of the better emotional episodes of the boys. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you talk about them acting, like they went all in on this episode.
bro. When MM is describing exactly pretty much what happened to his family as regarding to Soldier Boy, as in like Soldier Boy taking that car and pretty much throwing it through his building
Yeah,
and killing his family. And then he's talking about it with Starlight, and then he sheds that tear. Like you can't help but to feel that, you know what I'm saying? Like he gave such a great performance in that scene where like it's extremely convincing, and you can't help but to feel for MM and to know where he's coming from when he is so passionate to Butcher about wanting revenge on Soldier Boy and being upset with him that he is working with Soldier Boy to try to kill Homelander. So like it definitely shows it gives more depth to MM's character.
yeah. Uh, and before we get into the final fight of the episode, which I think is something that people have been waiting on since the show started, um, A Train had a very powerful episode, I thought,
Oh yeah.
because for one, I, from the first season, I was like, dang, Hugh moved on really quickly to Starlight. Like it took him no time to get over Robin. And then out of nowhere, you're like, oh snap, he didn't forget because he's like asking A Train for a real apology. Um, and then like A Train, having been through what he's actually been through this season, now was like, dang, maybe I really did mess up, and like gave him a real apology just for Huey to still try and beat him up.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
and
it's
then he,
still.
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I totally get where both of those characters are coming from, because, of course, A Train being in the seven, being kind of shielded from, actual accountability, to when now superheroes affecting your life is brought to basically his own life, to where Blue Hawk went crazy and paralyzed his brother.
Yeah.
Which we probably talked about last week, or I think it was last week when we talked about the boys before, but definitely what I wanted to see from kind of A Train, like something that actually affects him to wake him up kind of from being uh Homelander and Vaught's kind of lapdog.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there at the end, when he finally uses his powers and kills Blue Hawk, you're like, all right, well, he's gonna die. um,
Yeah, but I feel like that's a red herring. I feel like they would probably give him a better death than that. So
it's a
I
pretty good
feel
death given his arc, like using his
yeah,
powers one last time.
but I wouldn't want that to be his final moments. You know, even though as powerful as that is, finally, I mean, well, not finally, but getting revenge on the guy who absolutely went insane and destroyed or like gravely hurt people in your community, gravely hurt people that you care about, your brother. Um, where like I definitely get where that would be a pretty fitting send off for him. I personally don't want that to be the end of A Train. That's why I
Yeah,
feel like it's a red herring in my opinion. That
it,
like
pro-
he's not actually dead.
it probably is. It would be a shame to kill his character. I just think, I mean, if it was his death, it'd be pretty good. But his character is kind of I think he's a crucial part of the cast. Like
Yeah,
he deserves to be there with the rest of them.
yeah.
So yeah. And now let's get in to I think the fight everybody's been waiting for, really. Basically Butcher versus Homelander, with some help of Soldier Boy and Huey.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought that fight was probably oh man, because there was a couple good fights in this episode. This fight and the fight between Kimiko and Little Nita's guys, but I feel like this fight probably edges the Kimiko fight out a little bit more for me. And
Yeah,
then not only as the fights in this episode, but as the fights in the show, this is probably the best fight in the show, in my opinion. Just kind of the gravity being Butcher and Huey having their own powers and being able to fight and kind of hold their own with Homelander um, in this episode, especially when you add Soldier Boy into it. Like, because I feel like we haven't really seen anyone in the show kind of hold their own with Homelander
no,
in the show yet. So the fact that Soldier Boy was able to start it off and Homelander thought that he had kind of erased Butcher out of the picture, not knowing that that he had taken that temporary V. And so when Butcher stood up and was like, yo, like it ain't only him you dealing with, bit dog. You gotta deal with me too. And he has those the glowing eyes and everything. They have their whole fight. Like it
yeah,
was it was it was good. I definitely love seeing them hand Homelander his ass right to him. Because I mean Homelander is just that guy that you love to hate. Like,
true.
and I mean love because he is a really good villain. He is an absolutely great villain. So much so that sometimes I find myself rooting for Homelander because I just want to see that character go as far out there as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see him, really they've been teasing this Homelander completely diving off the deep end since the show has been going on. So, I mean, I definitely want to see that happen. So basically, I'm just kind of rooting for him to go as crazy as possible. And I feel like this fight helped us get even closer to that end result.
Yeah. And how about Homelander actually being scared there at the end? Like the dude is
Oh yeah.
Those are like some emotional screams from the actor. Like Homelander thinks he's about to straight up die for the first time probably ever. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Homelander, God, he's such a good character because he's so complex and he's got stuff that's wrong with him because he was like bred and raised in a lab.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so but that fight, man, that was pretty good. I mean, because you never think in the boys that Butcher is ever going to stand a chance against Homelander physically. And the introduction of the whole temporary V stuff has helped his case. And man, when they were going at it, that was pretty sweet. Because you don't feel so much as a connection with Soldier Boy and Homelander fighting, but when Butcher and Homelander are going at it, God, that's where it's at. And then, man, I got to tell you that was a really good fight. I don't know if because there's still like 2 more episodes in season 3, and that's what they gave us in episode 6. I'm really looking forward to the finale of this season. I will say somebody's got to give Huey some like underwear that sticks to him if he's gonna keep shooting up this temporary V, man. Because
Yeah,
he's
if he's gonna keep up with those powers that he has, him showing up naked everywhere is just not the move at all, bro. Like when he popped into Herogasm and he's naked, I'm like, yo, this is the perfect opportunity for somebody to just like hit on him and him to have this awkward moment of like, oh no, I'm not
I
kind of
bet
here for sex. I know I'm naked, but
yeah. I bet
no,
the
this
writers
is
had that in mind when they wrote that for the first time, that he was going to be naked every time he used his powers.
yeah, probably, but yeah, more so in my opinion than just this kind of main thing that's going on. I do kind of want to touch on Kimiko and Frenchie's thing that they have going on, um, which I thought was really good as well. The fact that Kimiko doesn't need pretty much her powers to be this absolute badass. Like the fact that she was able to take down little Nina's 2 goons without her powers, really to me stood out in this episode because it just, I feel like it adds more complexity, more density to her character, than her just being this one dimensional. Oh, she has powers. Oh, Butcher uses her to be their power source for enemies that they can't overpower themselves. Like, no, like she can hold her own. No, she has these feelings that like maybe it wasn't just the V, maybe I am just a monster. Feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it was good.
what's really crazy is you think about what Soldier Boy did to Kimiko, and all she did was lose her powers. So what if Homelander gets a full blast of that red? Like I don't think
Right.
he's really gonna die. Maybe he loses some of his powers or whatever, and then he can still stick around because what's he gonna do? Take V again and just get all his powers back?
I mean, he might be that desperate if it does come down to it. I believe if that does happen, he gets a full blast from Soldier Boy, that he wouldn't question it. It wouldn't be a question for him. He would definitely take more of that V,
Yeah,
and and try to vie for everyone's love and adoration like he's been doing this whole time in the show.
Yeah, I mean, but this season is kind of leaning more towards like that Trump style politician, where he is getting all those approval points down in the belt for speaking out and doing dumb stuff during that celebration, saying I can do whatever I want. and,
Oh
yeah. So there's like a satire thing there too, with his approval ratings and everything. So yeah, but this show, up until this last episode, I thought season 2 was stronger, but no, season 3 is going in. It's getting pretty good. So,
and also to mention the like huge, not to mirror what you're saying about Trump, but the huge bomb that Starlight drops at the end of the episode publicly
yeah,
of what's basically been going on in Vault with Homelander just trying to get everybody's love, and her basically exposing Vought for what it really is, and then her saying she quits. Like, I'm totally ready for the rest of the season, like just to see where all this goes. And I mean, I've been thinking just a little bit how far they can take this show realistically. And do you think we might be towards the end of the show? Maybe they get 2 more seasons out of this
yeah.
for 5, maybe 6 seasons.
I was gonna say 5 is probably the way to go with this type of show, because like this isn't a show where you have multiple villains. Like this is straight up about Homelander, and as soon as he's gone, that's the show. But the show is
Oh
also
yeah.
kind of leading up to that point of him dying or something happening to him. So I don't know. I mean, they can't keep chasing around it. He's just about ruined the company he works for this season too. So maybe 5 seasons, I think they could have good stories for. Thankfully, we're in like this weird time of television where, we don't get 23 episodes of a show anymore, where like half of those are just filler episodes, to get the person, whatever, just to make more money and do nothing. Now, man, you can get like 8 to 13 episodes in a season of a show, but it's like really good, like consistently the entire time. So a show like The Boys, I don't know, I think 5 seasons. I don't
Yeah.
see, I would hope that they realize it too. I mean, they've been really great at the satire and everything else. It's just the main storyline, I don't think could go longer than 5, maybe 6 if they stretched it.
I totally agree with you. Like, as phenomenal as this season, or as this show and this season have been, I just don't want to see it go down that path of let's squeeze as much money out of this cash cow as possible. I really want them to keep their track record of telling this amazing story in their own way. Has happened so far.
Yeah.
So I really don't see the show being that viable as as it is now, or as good as it is now past a 5th season.
Yeah. I mean, you don't hear
And
people talking
maybe
about how
maybe
good The
not even a
Flash is
whole,
anymore.
yeah, absolutely. Maybe not even a whole like 5th season to a 6th season, maybe an extended 5th season by like 2 episodes, 3 episodes, just to wrap everything up in a nice little bow. Um,
Heck, give
but
us 2 parts, a 14 episode 5th season or something, 7
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
7.
other than that, like on the extreme off chance that somebody on this that is on this show is listening to this podcast. Yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And not
Yeah.
the limitations that we're trying to put on your show is purely from a fan standpoint of we
Quality.
recognize what you guys are trying to do, and as in we don't want to see this show go down a
Proverbial
way
gutter.
down into the gutter. Exactly. Thank you, Jerod. Down into the gutter, so we just want to see the greatness that you guys have already put out continue to shine. So
Yeah. So obviously, boys, amazing show. All y'all doing God's work. Some Christians might get offended if they ever see the boys.
yeah.
But yeah, and speaking of boys, we're gonna talk about some of our favorite boys really quick. And that's the Atlanta Hawks. NBA draft just came up. We won't focus on it too much, folks, because here's the reality of the situation. Okay. The Hawks drafted 2 people. Okay. We drafted AJ Griffin. Excuse me. And we picked up Tyrese Martin after a trade with Golden State when we got Ryan Rollins. Now AJ Griffin, is he a solid pick? I think so. He was our first rounder. However, the Hawks were in the media a lot leading up to the draft, talking about, oh, we're going to trade maybe John Collins or maybe Bogdanovich or maybe Red Rocket, but nothing happened. Nothing happened at the draft except us picking who we got, which that's not to bash the players because, hey, these could be really solid picks. But the Hawks were in the media a lot for
Jerod,
possibly trading.
I'm sorry. I got to stop you here. Do people call Kevin Huerter Red Rocket?
I've seen it.
Or Red Velvet?
Oh, shoot, Red Velvet. It's getting late for everybody.
I'm not going to lie to you. Red Rocket is not a phrase that I would like to be called.
Red Velvet.
Listen, if anybody in the show knows what Red Rocket is, I would definitely not want to be called that.
Yeah, I'm getting tired too. Okay, I meant Red Velvet.
Bro, this man just absolutely disrespected Kayvon Hunter.
So,
not Hunter, but Herder.
Yeah. See, we're all getting our mind twisted. But
Red Rocket.
All I'm saying is there was a lot of waves in the media about the Atlanta Hawks making moves, and we didn't.
We did, unfortunately, which I get it. I hate it, but we did release Gallinari.
Yeah. Well, kind of had to.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think, in my opinion, nobody, maybe other than Trey, showed more heart for this team than Danilo Gallinari did, coming off the bench every night. Like, this man, like, he really touched me. I wasn't the most the biggest supporter of Gallinari last season, and then when he showed up kind of like he did in the playoffs, and helped us get to where we were in the playoffs, definitely helped me see kind of his character as a player and his kind of his what am I trying to say? His usefulness uh, in this organization. And so, in my opinion, I'm really sad to see him go. I'm definitely excited for the future to see where we go as a team, as an organization. But the fact that I really enjoyed seeing his style of ball being played. Uh, Shout out to Danilo Gallinari. Sorry to see you go, but that's the nature of the beast. That's how the business rolls.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've each said the Hawks. This is a wash year that we just came across, thanks to COVID protocols and never getting our groove. But like I said, they were supposed to make some moves. Now, if they don't make moves and they trust their talent and develop that talent, then we better figure something out this season to make another decent playoff run, because I trust Coach Nate, man. They got to give my guy some chances.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. We didn't want to talk about it very long, just because the draft is the draft, and we weren't like a lottery team. To even have a pick at 16 was pretty good. So AJ Griffin, hey, I think maybe he turns out well for the Hawks. I look forward to seeing him play, and maybe we'll make some moves. Hey, the season hasn't started yet, so you never know.
Absolutely not. And like in all honesty, in all seriousness, Jerod, did you expect to see some kind of, not even like a blockbuster trade, but like of course, a trade for one of, in my opinion, one of our integral pieces to the starting lineup during this draft for the Hawks, as in a John Collins?
So I'm not like a lot of Atlanta Hawks fans. Oh, sorry, y'all. I had my Xbox started whirring behind me, and it kind of freaked me out for a second. I was like, "What is that?" I'm not a John Collins detractor. Okay, I think he's still a very young talent, and I think he's got a lot of great potential.
Oh yeah.
I think we just need to give him another chance. Because really, with the exception of the playoff run and everything he did to the 76ers, we haven't given him too much of a chance to develop, So I actually think we should give him another year or two to see good, solid growth. So maybe that's where I stand a little different. I don't know, Bogdanovich, man. You got to have one of those Euro players on your team. You got to have them if you want to be successful.
You got to have them. I mean, literally, like some nights these Euro players may go for 4, 2, and 3, a single digit playing game. But then some nights, Bogey just looks like the best player on the team, and I don't know, and it's just that kind of unpredictableness, in my opinion, that makes me like Bogey so much, to where sometimes I'm like, yo, Bogey, you should not be on this team. Somebody needs to cut this man. Somebody get him on the bench, get him out of this place. And then sometimes I'm like, bro, sit everybody and just let Bogey go 1v5 every night, bro. Like,
you need him.
It just I don't know, man. I like Bogey because of that. Because I mean, like I said, I also feel like he was another when he wasn't injured last season.
Well,
another big piece of us getting to where we were.
I feel like probably what happened was a lot of teams probably wanted Hunter, and the Hawks weren't going to give him up. in any of the
Oh yeah.
trades. So, you know, that's probably why we didn't see any big blockbuster moves for the Hawks. Because most teams, especially if you want to move into the lottery, they're gonna want a decent player, in trade for that pick. So I don't. That's probably why. And of course, no biggie. I think the Hawks are still a pretty good young team. Um, so who knows? Hoping for the best this season.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I halfway expected them to give up Clint
Oh,
for
yeah,
something because that kind of makes sense. Um,
I could
in
probably see
my
that one.
opinion, um, with Double O heading into his third season, I feel like they're probably going to be looking more towards him as their starting center,
Yeah,
especially with the performance he had this past season. I mean, I feel like he definitely performed better than this season, of course, as to be expected, than his rookie year. And in his rookie year, he was balling out in the playoffs.
yeah,
So this past season he did even better than what he did in the playoffs. So like I was kind of expecting them to do something with Clint, so it would leave more space open for us to be able to utilize Double O more, but didn't
yeah,
happen. So maybe we're gonna end up keeping Clint.
yeah. I mean, I guess that's probably a player I could have seen us trading. Uh, I think Clint's got some good value, but
Yeah,
a lot of teams are going small now. So I don't know. Maybe he's not that valuable on the trade market or something. I still think he's actually really good as a center in the league. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. I hope the Hawks do not disappoint us this season. It's going to be a great year. Let's just keep that in our minds. It's going to be a great year
hopefully, man.
for the
Fingers crossed.
Hawks.
But you want to know what my thing is with these rookies that we just drafted, and
Yeah,
even the rookies that we drafted last season? I want to see more playing time for these guys. And I mean, I know we have kind of our rotation set, and Nate really doesn't um, get out of that rotation that we have. So we didn't get to see too much of Jalen Johnson on the court. We
yeah,
didn't get to see too much of Sharif Cooper on the court. I just want to be able to see these rookies playing more in these minutes, like even if it is kind of garbage time, which those last few minutes of the fourth, we're gonna have to be able to close these games out so we can take our starters out, and so we can see these guys play more. But that's more of a issue with our closing out.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hey,
but I'm sure. I mean, hey, summer league, we're gonna be able to see these guys play, so we're gonna be able to see what they can do. But I mean, other than their highlights from college, but we'll be able to see what these guys can do during summer league.
true.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So hopefully, great year for the Hawks, folks. And you know, we talked about the boys, talking about the Hawks. Um, but what we don't talk about much are Jedi's, which is going to lead us to our closing topic here on the show for you all this week, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and its finale, which, by the way, probably the strongest episode of the series.
I mean, yes.
It had to be, but
Jared,
about
I just before we get too much into it, I just want to know how much shaking and almost exploding in your head was going on last week when I was talking about. Yeah, I just want to see maybe some some flashbacks with
Uh,
Hayden Christensen as Anakin in there, and of course he had already been caught up to episode 5, and I wasn't. And so, of course, I think it was episode 5, when you
yeah.
get to see those flashbacks of Hayden Christensen, of course, as Anakin. I just want to know how much you were kind of trying to not to explode inside when I brought that up.
Well, you said you want to talk about the show, and then during that, you said you hadn't watched episode 5. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep a straight face, and then he'll be surprised, like whenever he sees it. Because
Yes,
I was like, dang, the very thing he's talking about, he's about to watch. So
I was definitely pleasantly surprised when I saw that. I was like, oh man, like not like I called it, but like I was like, this is exactly what I wanted from this show to
yeah,
see. Even though, like, I don't know, man.
they
This
they did a bad job de-aging him. He looked pretty old.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. These Star Wars has been basically hit or miss with their de-aging technology, whether it be in the TV shows or in the movies. Because in the movies, I really don't think they, as much as I love the movie itself, that last tag kind of in Rogue One with Princess Leia
Yeah,
being de-aged.
I thought
I
that one
feel
was
like
decent.
I feel like they missed the mark with that one. And um what else with Mark Hamill the first time
Yeah,
in
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, I really didn't think it looked too good, but with him in was it Boba Fett, right?
Yeah,
I feel like they did a much better job
it's
this go
like
around
it's
with
like
him.
they do it the first time with a new character, and they're like, "Ah, maybe the audience won't notice. Like we could have worked harder on this," and
Yeah,
then
right.
and then
And
the
they're like, yeah,
audiences
shit.
notice.
Yeah. But no, Hayden Christensen definitely looked like he was showing his age.
Yeah,
The what 20 years in between from episode 2 to episode to Obi-Wan.
yeah. I
Um
I do have one complaint about the final episode. Um, the final battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan was way too dark. I mean, I there are some parts, even you turn the screen brightness all the way up on your TV or your phone, and you couldn't see it, man. I'm just like,
oh yeah,
I want to
no.
see this. Like,
It was really dark on that planet that they ended up on.
but yeah, I mean they've got some aging problems with the show. I was not surprised when Liam Neeson showed up just because it was teased from the very first episode. Where
Yeah.
literally the opening scene is like where are you, Master Qui-Gon? Basically foreshadowing seeing him as one of the Force ghosts. So I wasn't surprised when I saw Liam Neeson. The
Crazy enough, even though it was foreshadowed, even though you had that like whole scene of Obi-Wan, like I mean not Obi-Wan, but Yoda, like, yeah, show you how to fucking excuse me,
you good?
how to talk to your old master. Uh Still seeing Liam Neeson. I'm not gonna lie to you, Liam Neeson looked pretty much exactly like he did in episode 1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He looked
Well,
really good.
Liam Neeson is like Larry David. He's looked the exact same age for a very long time. Uh, but I mean, so yeah, it was a really good episode, and I honestly I could care less about Obi-Wan meeting Luke at the end. I don't care about it. But I will
Yeah,
say when he slams Darth's helmet into two, that speech by Hayden Christensen, where it is kind of his voice and James Earl Jones with the distorted voice box. That was pretty good. Where
Oh yeah.
he's like, no, he's like, I destroyed Anakin. Like, basically acknowledging both of their personalities, Darth taking over. So, yeah, that part was probably the best part of the episode for me.
One of my complaints definitely with that is that when Obi-Wan is like, when after that happens, of course he's cut
Yeah,
that side of his mask off, and beat up his whole suit. He's beat Vader's ass basically. When he walks away from him, the only thing he calls him is Darth.
yeah.
And I'm like, there's like 1,000 Darths in Star Wars canon. So like, why is he just calling him Darth? Like he could have called him Vader or whatever. Like,
Couldn't
yo,
waste his
this is
time.
me. I guess. Maybe that's just the ultimate disrespect of okay, I'll acknowledge since you say that you have killed Anakin. Anakin is no more. I'm just gonna call you your kind of basically your title and not even your name.
Yeah.
But also, um, not even really a complaint, just kind of an observation. Just like, of course, this is the Skywalker saga, and of course, like Leia is a Skywalker. She's a huge part of the Skywalker saga, but just as much as they have made her a big part of this show,
Yeah.
and basically they made Luke a little bitch
Well,
in the show. They totally son Luke in this show, and I mean, of course, like in his other depictions, of course, Luke is this strong um, Force user. Of course, he's a strong Jedi, and I feel like this is kind of the first instance. Well, I mean, maybe not in the case of like the Last Jedi, um, where we really see Luke just down bad, just absolutely down bad, to where he's a little kid and he just can't even hide right from the third sister.
what about Uncle Owen being like, he's got an armory up there on Tatooine. Like, where's that been? Or he's got an arsenal on Tatooine, in his house. Like,
Bro, right?
that came out of nowhere.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it no lie, it seemed like he was surprised. He was just as surprised as the audience was when Aunt, what is her name, Baru,
yeah, yeah,
when she pulled out them guns, when she pulled out the blickies, he was like, huh, huh, what? And she was like, you knew this day was gonna come, dumbass. Like, come on, take these guns. Like,
man. I mean, look, in this scenario, Luke is just a kid who's been stuck to one place his entire life. He's not like Princess Leia, who's got like a rich family and is a senator. So, no, I understand the differences. And yeah, we've already seen good depictions of Luke Skywalker throughout the series and in the new stuff with Mandalorians. So yeah, I wasn't too upset about that. But yeah, really, really strong show. Looking forward to Ahsoka because Hayden Christensen is also going to be in that. So that,
yo, really?
yeah, that was confirmed. So
I
he's
didn't even realize.
he's coming back for that one too.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really enjoying these Star Wars shows, and kind of how they are all taking place kind of in the same time span
Yeah,
of basically right after episode 6. Um uh or not really after episode 6. Is that after episode 6? No. Obi-Wan takes place after episode 3.
Yeah, like 10 years after.
Yeah. So actually, Obi-Wan is the deviant to this, and I guess technically Ahsoka is after episode. No, it's Ahsoka's after episode 6.
Yeah,
Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. The timelines.
I think they're just gonna have flashbacks with Hayden Christensen, as being her mentor and everything.
Okay. Yeah, no, but I'm really liking, like, especially like Boba Fett and
Boba Fett.
and the Mandalorian, kind of how they're taking place and kind of bridging the gap between episode 6 and episode 7, where you can kind of see where the galaxy was in between those two times.
I'm starting to think that maybe the Empire was a good thing for the galaxy. I mean, some of these planets are well regulated. Their economies are thriving.
I know. Don't listen, big dog. Don't get me started, because I love a good villain. I'll say this a million times. I love a good villain, and I feel like Palpatine was definitely a good villain, and I feel like the Empire was a great
up until the new trilogy.
Oh yeah. Oh God. I don't listen. We're gonna act like episode 9 Palpatine didn't exist. Like that. To me, in my opinion, that is the worst part of the new trilogy. Is that they use all this momentum, in my opinion, that they had from episode 8 to then just absolutely tank it with Palpatine coming back in episode 9, bro. Come on. And I mean, what is it? Technically like 20, 30 years after episode 6, after Return of the Jedi, that this is taking place, kind of like basically like real time. But the fact that we had Darth Vader basically look like he ended Palpatine for him to just magically reappear, and him to not even have a concrete explanation as to why this man came back, but just in a passing statement, Poe going, somehow Palpatine came back,
dude.
And then like all these failed experiments of clone Palpatines. Come on, cut. Anyways, I love Palpatine and what he was able to do to be a catalyst in Anakin's development to make him become Darth Vader in the first place, and him basically manipulating not only the senators, the council of the Jedi, like all the Jedi, basically, into believing he was this chancellor that was of honor to him becoming the absolute best villain in Star Wars canon, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that was a long rant about my love for Palpatine, but
I don't know if you watch this guy on YouTube, the Cosmonaut Variety Hour, but
no,
he actually.
I've never heard of this guy before in my life.
Dude, you'd probably like him. You'd probably actually really like him. But he, I don't know. He's kind of a guy not too similar to Emergency Awesome, but he does review a lot of like comic book movies and everything. Dude, the guy is like super hilarious. And he does a whole video. He just did one like a couple weeks ago, which is when you mentioned the Poe line, I thought you had seen it, because he does a whole video, and I don't know why he waited this long, about why episode 9 sucks. And he mentioned that one line throwaway about somehow Palpatine returned. Like, man, he probably mentions it like 20 times in his video, because he gets so pissed off that that's the way they brought him back.
Yeah, bro. Like, I feel like let let and I mean, I feel like, of course, this would be just definitely mirroring Darth Vader's path, but let um, Leia's son. What is the name? It's
Kylo
escaping
Ren.
me. Yes. Let Kylo basically go full Darth Vader basically for episode 9 and let his redemption arc be. And I mean, basically that is what episode 9 is about. And I feel like Palpatine is more or so a throwaway character, which is why he was kind of. But they really leaned into Palpatine for that
Yeah,
for that movie
and
though. Like they leaned into him way too much.
then they
They
gave
could.
us like the worst line possible in Star Wars. I am all the Jedi. What?
Oh no! Hold on now. Because as much as I love the Empire, I also love the Jedi. So like that scene with all the Jedi talking to Rey and
I didn't say the Jedi
in her
talking to her
head,
wasn't cool,
like that. I really
but
like that.
it's just like when she said, "And I am all the Jedi." I'm thinking that line is kind of cringy to me because it takes me back to the Flash, and it's like Iris West, we are the Flash. What? No, I couldn't stand that line. And they had just gotten off of wait, did Endgame come out before Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker?
Um, Rise of Skywalker came out in 2020.
So it was, I think it was shortly after Endgame came out in 2020. Um, Either way,
No, it might have been before because um I feel like Rise of Skywalker came out actually probably at the end of 2019, probably like that December in
yeah,
2019.
it did. It came out in 2019. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just didn't like that line, man. To me, it seemed really weird. Oh, but Avengers Endgame came out in 2019 too.
It came out in like June
No, Avengers came out in April.
or
Star
April.
Wars usually comes around December because that's
Yeah,
when they make.
that's true.
So when she also said, I am all the Jedi, I got this weird vibe. Like they needed a line like, I am Iron Man, for her to say because of the success from Avengers Endgame. And
I mean, I listen. I know it's the same company, but like, I don't know. I
come
don't
on,
know about
man. Rise of
that.
Skywalker basically retconned their whole trilogy. Like,
Well, if you listen, hey, listen. If you listen to the haters, then Episode 8 retconned everything.
no. I'm an episode 8 lover. Okay.
Oh, me too. Me too. I love Episode 8.
So, I mean, at least Ryan Johnson did something different to try and advance the
Oh,
story.
hell yeah. Like to me, other than Rogue One
Yeah.
and these modern Star Wars stories, that is the best one from a storytelling perspective,
Yeah.
in my opinion. You get a kind of, in my opinion, a real and grounded depiction of Luke in that. And I feel like to the average fan, they're like, why you do Luke like that? Why Luke? He got his lightsaber and he just threw it away. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Why would you do that to him? Like, I hope you guys like that voice I just did. It's kind of a little bit of a mocking
All the haters on the internet.
a mocking British voice.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I feel like they did a really good job with Luke in that episode. Like they made him kind of go through what a lot of Jedi have gone through. Like they've trained somebody in the ways of the Force,
Yeah.
and it did not work out the way that they thought it was going to work out, and so it caused them to have their own doubts in the Force, which and a lot of them makes them kind of live out their life in solitary, like
Yeah.
being basically a hermit. And so that's kind of what happened to him. So
Man.
I thought they made a great Luke in the episode.
And folks, we are sorry. Got off on a tangent. We went from Obi-Wan to talking about these the new films.
Oh, we were talking about Obi-Wan. Holy heck.
So we have a whole 6 degrees going around here.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. We talked about this before this episode of the show. It was gonna be a short episode. It was
supposed to be.
It was gonna be a short episode. But we start talking, the camera's rolling. We're just chit-chatting up here with you guys, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
We're glad that a lot of people have decided to listen to our chit-chats every week. So thank you. But yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens when you get us just up here talking.
And yeah, before I get into closing here, I did confirm the count of episodes. I know we talked about it earlier at the beginning of the show. This one is episode 79. So getting pretty close to 100.
Pretty close to 100. What should we do? What should we do for episode 100?
Let's do
let's just do a whole bunch of guests. We should get like every single person that we've ever had on the show, Mike Conti included.
Mike Conti. Wow. We should do 100-second segments
of
not even 2 minutes. 100-second segments.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pull everybody back for an episode of Unheard of, just so they can contribute in some form or fashion. Like, I mean, I guess it would technically kind of be like our 2-year episode where we kind of like talked about our favorite moments, and kind of like an episode 100. I feel like we kind of did the same thing, but that flashback you had to me getting ready for the show was really, really funny. So shout out to Drew for reminding me about that.
Yeah, but, we can't really do it too much anymore because now with us recording the video, we pick and choose when we start recording. So there's not like a lot to edit off anymore. For people wondering if there's like a lot of bloopers or anything like that anymore, there's not. We mostly keep just about everything we talk about in the show now. It's rare for me to cut something just because now, as soon as we hit record, that's where it starts. And used to, when it was audio, as soon as the call started, I would have to keep track of the times for cutting because it just recorded every second of the call, which is why we had so many bloopers and outtakes, because I had to edit so many out. Now I don't have to do it as much. So,
and nowadays we still do have to do. Well, let me not speak for you, Jerod, because of course you are the editing whiz of the show. But there are still a little bit of tiny things that, of course, have to be edited out. We do this kind of thing on Zoom. So, well, as in recording wise.
Yeah,
never mind. But I totally forgot where I was even heading with that statement, where I was going to.
For our listening folks, I mean, heck, even watching, it's about 3 a.m. Eastern time at this very moment. So,
oh yeah, I'm
Arthur's had a few drinks before this, so
oh yeah, no, I'm a bit loopy, but I feel like there was a point I was trying to get at. Oh no, okay. So back in these earlier days of Unheard Of, we would kind of go over what we were gonna be talking about in a lot more detail than what we do now. Now we kind of get a loose, like, okay, we're gonna talk about these things, and then we're just gonna fire from the hip, basically, on the show. And then I kind of rely on Jerod to keep us together with those great transitions of his. Um, but yeah, back in those days, I feel like that's another reason why we had a lot more things to cut, because we would have those points where we're like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, okay, we're gonna talk about this, and it's gonna be this, and this.
Yeah.
But now, as we become more comfortable, or mostly me on the show, like, we get to fire more off the hip and have these reactions that are pure, have these moments on the show that are just us, you know what I'm saying? Just purely us. And so we were talking about Obi-Wan. I don't know if you still want to talk about Obi-Wan. This show was really good. I'm really excited. Hopefully there's another season. I want to see what happens with the third sister. She seemed like, listen, everybody who was hating on the third sister in the beginning of the show, you suck. I'm sorry for being that aggressive, but you suck. The third sister ended up being such a good character, such a deep character with such a great backstory as to who she actually was. And if you, basically, lack of a better word, if you assholes had just waited to see what her character was going to be, then you guys would have seen the greatness that her character was. I mean, it just, in my opinion, people judge characters way too hard, just off of a first impression, especially when it's a series. When it's a series, and then this character is somebody you're gonna see a lot of, just wait for them to show you what this character is gonna be.
Just take Stranger Things, for instance. Go back and watch season 1 and tell me you like Steve, okay?
Exactly.
He's a different character come season 2.
Totally different character. And so I mean, I hope you agree with me, Jerod, but like, anybody who was hating on the third sister in the first 2 episodes after the show came out, man, I hope y'all never watch anything Star Wars related ever again. I hope you guys hated it to the point where you completely drop off the face of the Star Wars fandom, because we don't need y'all anywhere around the Star Wars fandom because y'all are some hater supremes, and we don't need y'all anywhere around this series.
I mean, hey, what better way to top off a review than that? You know, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it as is. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to get a second season. I just don't know what else they're gonna do to Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
like,
right.
How many times can you justify another fight between him and Darth Vader outside of canon?
Maybe the next season doesn't have him fighting Vader.
Maybe he could. That wouldn't work in the timeline.
What were you gonna say though?
I was gonna say Darth Maul, but that wouldn't work.
Kind of not, because I mean, Darth Maul is more. I mean, Darth Maul is technically, well, he's in the middle of episode 2 and episode 3.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh well. But yeah, I'm not gonna top Arthur's review. I am just going to say thank you all for listening. And closing thoughts, nothing really too special. I hope in this time of uncertainty in the country, that people can really search their hearts and, kind of realize that, our beliefs only go so far. And, we shouldn't have a say in most things that people think we should have a say in, especially when it's not regarding us. And I'll leave that conversation on a note for a later day where hopefully we can get some people who are more qualified to talk about that stuff in here on the show. Tune in next week to finally get my thoughts on Doctor Strange 2, since it finally came out on Disney Plus and I was able to see it without, because I didn't get to see it in the theaters. We'll be talking about that next week. So really hope you guys tune in, because I got some thoughts about that movie. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Jerod Evans, and I'll pass it over to ABG.
All right, so it sounds like I need to be rewatching Doctor Strange 2. I mean, great movie, by the way. But also my closing thoughts. Kind of to echo off of Jared's closing thoughts, but in maybe a slightly more aggressive way. Mind your business, basically, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
Is anything that has to do with anybody that doesn't affect you in the slightest form of the way you carry your life and the way that you live, it's not your business.
Hey, you don't want the government to take your guns, but you want to be able to control other people. So it's a weird little thing there, with a lot of that.
But I mean, listen. I mean, shout out to my mama. I mean, I know she's probably gonna listen to this episode. She taught me as young as possible to mind my own business. If it don't pertain to me, if it does not have anything to do with my life in the slightest bit, then to let people live. You know what I'm saying? And so I urge people to just, in their everyday lives, to just mind your own business. I feel like I have done that in my life, and it has gotten me, I wouldn't want to say far, but it has caused me a lot less headaches in my life when I just absolutely said, that ain't my business. And I walked away from the situation, or I just simply did not pay attention to it because it was not my business. So if you see something that you have to think twice about inserting yourself into, think about it. Does this really matter? Do I really need to insert myself into this? Does anybody care about my opinion? And I'll give you a hint. 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be no, you do not need to insert yourself into this. No, you do not. No one needs to know your opinion. Mind your business. And that's how I live my life basically for the past 5-6 years. And from beyond, I'm gonna continue to mind my own business until I'm in the ground. So basically, that's all I can give to you guys this week. You can find me on Twitter at young without the O _ ABG. You can find us on Twitter at unheard _ of pod. That's the same thing on Instagram _ unheard _ of pod. Excuse me. Facebook, we post on Facebook. We are unheard of. You know us. Look us up. YouTube, we got YouTube links. We out here. Spotify, we out here. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not hard to find if we are the thing that you are looking for.
Yeah.
Um, and if we are the thing that you are looking for, thank you. If you have listened to us um, before, if this is your first episode and you made it this far, and if this is your, how many episodes was that? 72?
79 is what this
79,
one is.
excuse me. If this is your 79th episode listening to this podcast or, watching, thank you. Thank you to everybody who has shown us support throughout this time that we have been doing this thing. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I say that a lot. I feel like I say that every week. And I mean, it doesn't change though. It doesn't change. Thank you so much to everybody. And I hope that growing the show that we only get better for you guys that are listening every week. And yeah, I mean, hey, that's it. That's it for me.
All right. Yeah, folks, it's supposed to be a short one, but hey, hopefully you can listen to this on your drive to work or while you're at work or if you're just chilling at the house. Uh, whichever way, wherever you are, we love that you're listening. And with all that being said, we love you, we hear you, and we hope you hear us. Hear it unheard of.
Unheard of.